service. Got it. Oh, great. Should be streaming live. Let's go ahead and go live also on TikTok. All right, beautiful. Dismiss. Should be going live in just a second. Let's just make sure we are pulled up properly. So go to the channel. Great. Turn the sound off. Greetings. And welcome. Text 813-567-3100 for answers. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Shauna's here. Great. That's great. Welcome. We are also live on TikTok as well. If you have any questions, anybody, ask us at any time. Beautiful. We're also live on our Grow Moringa YouTube channel as well. So I'm just kind of getting set up here. Welcome, everybody. Here we go. Beautiful. Today, we really wanted to talk about revenue streams. I'm going to talk about income. Shauna's coming in here with us. Hey there. Beautiful. Turn up the volume here so we can hear Shauna. Hey, Shauna.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Beautiful. Happy Moringa Monday.
Happy Moringa Monday.
Oh, there she is. All right. So I have the live stream up also here. Oh, hey, Jack's here also from Arizona. Welcome, Jack. Beautiful. Yeah, maybe sometime soon, Jack. We would love to even have you on the show if you'd like to. We would love to tell your story and let others know about your business. I know that spring is in the air. It's coming back. So we'll be promoting everybody's products and in this upcoming season. So thanks for coming in. We went ahead and promoted this within our members area. So that way our members could also come in here and get some value from today's show. We really want to talk about revenue streams, creating income, and permaculture practices, because I'm in the process of writing my book and making that available to everybody. And in that process, I'm also learning. I'm learning about how to communicate, how to say things, how to write better, and also how to, just kind of get that message across to people that if you want to make money from Moringa and you're thinking about planting 10 trees, consider planting 100 trees or even possibly 1,000 trees. And we'll go into that as well as we begin to have questions rolling in. I've got questions also coming in on our TikTok. So I'm also live on TikTok here. I've got my spare phone up here so I can see any questions. They're letting people know that we're live right now. And I'm just going to see if I can see comments. Great. So I'll be able to see any comments that somebody might have on TikTok as well.
So I want to say hi to Jack. I didn't get a chance to. Hi, Jack.
Good. We're all just getting up, talking for the first time. I've got my tea, I've got my water, and also some iced coffee.
I finished my coffee. Now I'm on my water with my electrolytes. So.
Beautiful. I've got some moringa tea here. I wanted to share with everybody really quickly, just before we get started, some of the things that we're doing to help our members make income is starting with very like simple things that everybody could have. If you have a tree or 2 trees or 5 trees, one of the things that you can do is you can get these boxes from us. We have them in like flats. And they come in 50 boxes at a time.
Wow.
So we have 5,000 of these boxes. And now members can purchase these boxes at cost. So these cost us about $3.15 each. And we want to be able to let members pick these boxes up. They can put them together and they can begin to put their products inside. And this is what we call the gift box. And this just came out this week. Now, we've been planning for this for several months, but it just came out this week. And it has all the little items that I make from the moringa trees. Some of the most common, of course, is the powder. The powder is in there. And even the spice, which is made from the powder. And so this is going to be an important topic for today as we get into the questions and how to make money from moringa, because each one of these things you can make from a few trees in your backyard. And one of the best ways to sell your moringa is even at the farmer's market. So I wanted to encourage everybody to go to the farmer's market. It's already starting to heat up in here. I want to cool it down a little bit. It's kind of cold outside, but just give me 1 second. I know that we're live.
So hi, Julie. Hi, Lilo.
All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. We got the heater on in the house. It's cold outside. So it's cold outside, but it's warm in here because we are heating it up with this conversation of money and moringa. And want to be able to get into anybody's questions, of course. Sean and I, we get a chance to spend some time together behind the scenes and kind of bring these issues to light with all of our questions. So I know that we had a lot of really great questions coming in this week through our text messages. So I have my text messages up right now. If anybody wanted to text us, we do have our text number is 813-567-3100. You're more than welcome to text us any questions that you have. If you wanted to get your questions asked, please don't hesitate to just give us a question. Of course, you as well can ask us in the chat and we'll be more than happy to get back to you.
So we've got Julie Barker. She said Grand Rising, and Lilo says hello from Naples. And
Oh,
when you
wow.
walked
Hey,
away,
Julie.
I said hi to both of them. So Julie's
Welcome.
glad to be here.
Good. Good. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Let me just refresh this real quick so that way my chat is good. There we go. Nice. All right. Chat's good. I can see the chat. What's one of the first things that you start with when growing anything?
Planting the seed.
Yeah. And even the seed goes in the soil. So just starting with really good soil, and hopefully this isn't too bright. Oh, let me turn this top light off too. We're just getting the lighting right. This is, getting this show together. There we go. That way it's a lot nicer, a lot darker for me. I got the lights in the background. You can see I got the box up there, cleaned up the back a little bit. Yeah, so that way you can see a little bit more of this screen here. And I know that you can even see some of the screen in the background. Totally cool.
No, I was going to tell you, I saw myself in the background.
You can see yourself
from your computer. Yeah.
Yeah, I have this big screen here and then I have my laptop here. Great little setup. This looks really nice on TikTok. We've got a few people here. Ask us any questions if you need to know anything about moringa. We wanted to talk first, soil. One of the things that you have to start with is really good soil. And I've been studying some of the things that make good soil. This is a packet that I actually got in my permaculture course. I took a permaculture class with Corrine Brennan a few years ago, and I have stacks and stacks and stacks of papers from that course. It was like a 75-hour course that I took with her. And it talks about here, even just opening this right up into agroforestry and an ecosystem and how to create, beneficial microbes in the soil. So one of the things that you want to start with is soil. Now, soil itself is a business. Like there are businesses that just focus on soil. So soil also equals money. And if you start composting, if you start getting free mulch to your property like I do, I get mulch dropped off to my property. And I actually just saw a post this weekend from Justin Rhodes. You might know him from the Great American Farm Tour. He came to the neighborhood around here in Tampa a few years ago and linked up with Pete Canaris. And they've been friends ever since. And now Justin will visit Pete, once or twice a year. And Pete goes to visit Justin on his new permaculture farm. I think it's somewhere in the Carolinas, or maybe even a little bit further north. But I really love seeing their relationship over the last couple of years, promoting each other's businesses. But this past weekend, Justin went to Pete's place, and he literally has like a football field full of mulch. And Justin was asking Pete, he was like, what are you going to do with it? And Pete was just like, I don't even know. But that's the thing with people that are going after their goals, going after their dreams. They don't necessarily know exactly what they're going to do. Say like with this example, this pile of mulch, but it is income. And so even if it just sits there, if it sits there for 5 years, that mulch is going to turn and break down and turn into valuable soil that he can then put on his, now he's got a market garden there at his place, Sandhill Farm, and also soil, but also maybe even sell the mulch back. So a lot of the mulch came in from just jobs of having to clear spaces out for landscaping, for permaculture, food forests, and things like that. And there was extra material. So just wanting everybody to know that one of the first things that you can start with making an income is even through the mulch and the soil.
So Kendrick, what is a good mulch?
Oh, good question.
Here in Las Vegas, everywhere I look, I either have pine or palms.
Pine or palms?
Yeah.
Good question. I'm really glad that you said that, because those trees are actually some of the oldest known trees that are still alive today. They're very common. Pine is a very old tree, meaning the bloodline goes way, way, way back. Same with palms. Their bloodline goes way, way, way back. It's unchanged from the form that they are in now. And what's maintained their level of existence is also kind of like keeping a barrier of things that might maybe take over. So a lot of times in a forest system, they're having to compete for light, they're having to compete for energy, they're having to compete for space. And what some plants have evolved in having, it's called an allele. They call it an allele. Now, I'm not sure if it's spelled like this, but it's something like that, like allele, like an allele. That's kind of what I'm saying there. And it prevents other things from growing in and around it. So knowing that, and also knowing that this particular trait is really only when the tree is alive, right? So when the trees are alive, they really exude this hormone, this allele, to kind of keep things from growing in and around the base of the tree. If you see a pine tree, do you ever really see anything else growing around it? When you see a palm tree, do you ever really kind of see things growing around it? Not so much. And that has to do with the allele that is in those types of trees. Now, it's said that once those trees are dead, that it no longer really has that property. and you can use it as a mulch. But what I like to do is I just like to keep, like if I have a like a design, right? And I'm having plants and I have some trees here, you know, and I'm growing around, what I'll do is I'll just mulch the pine and the palm in the pathways. So I'll just use the pathways for the pine and the palm. I won't really put the pine and the palm in and around the plants. I'll just keep it around the walkways because it also suppresses other plants, other grasses, other weeds from kind of growing. But you don't want it to suppress your plants that you're growing by design. So you don't want it to affect your moringa trees. You don't want it to affect the other plants that you're really trying to grow because it might stunt the growth. And the pine and the palm, they might have a different acidity or pH to some plants. So some plants, they like it really acidic, but moringa is much more on the neutral spectrum. They like it at about a 6.3 to a 6.5.
2 years ago when I built my raised beds, I didn't know anything about gardening. We've talked about this before. So, and I had friends telling me, oh, add leaves, add this, well, I have no trees, so I have no leaves, but my neighbor has pine trees. So I get the pine cones a lot. And what I did was, Jack says it'll stop Bermuda grass. Anyway, not knowing anything about this, I took as many pine cones as I could, and I made that the bottom of my garden bed. And then I was putting soil and amendments and all kinds of stuff in there. And it's been 2 years ago, so I'm not worried about it too much now.
Yeah, it breaks down. That's the thing. Like once the pine, the palm, now the pine leaves, they are also have their own acidity. They also have wax on them. So those types of things, they might not be conducive to the growth of other plants. So I mostly love, to answer that question, is oak mulch. I know a lot of people have cypress nearby. Like I remember Jack was saying something about having excess amounts of cypress potentially in his area. And so mostly here in Florida, somebody's asking me here in TikTok, where am I? I'm in Florida. I'm in Plant City, Florida. And so we have lots of oak trees. And especially like this time of year, the Department of Transportation, they're driving up and down the roads, clearing off any of the broken limbs and sticks and stems off the power lines. So that way, come storm season, we don't lose as much power. Every year, we have this cycle around town here where the wintertime is when all the trucks go out, get all the trees cut back short. And then places like me, I've gotten hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of loads of oak mulch dropped off just in the last couple years. And even in the last month or 2 months, I've probably had maybe 20 or 30 loads dropped off on my property here. And it's helping to build my soil. So I'm using the mounds. So the mulch comes in like a mound, and somebody's like, what happens if it catches on fire? Because it'll get really super hot inside there. And I literally will have like lengths of mulch. But take a look at Pete Canaris's pile that he has. I don't think he's worried about combustion, spontaneous combustion, because that is a huge pile of mulch. And so I really wasn't worried about it here either, even though in the morning sometimes I see it smoking and heating up and stuff like that.
So when Jack said, will it stop? He was asking, will the pine and the palm, will it stop Bermuda grass?
Yes. So with a thick enough layer, of your mulch, at least 6 inches to about a foot, if you can get that above your grass, it should suppress anything underneath for about a season. Now, you might need to reapply that because it might come back, but it is a natural, clean method of suppressing grass. That's what I do around here, actually. I don't really weed. every year I just spread my mulch out over top of the grass, and it has a nice layer because it's also wintertime, so it's not raining. And then everything is just dying back also too, because we do get a little bit of frost here. So all the grass here right now is already kind of browned out and really kind of dying. We haven't had much rain this season. It's actually fairly cold today. It was probably in the 50s last night. And so February generally is kind of like, it'll be warm and cold, warm and cold. March, we still have potential for frosts here in Plant City in about central Florida. Have you had any frost there in Vegas recently?
Not frost. I
No?
mean, they said it snowed like a week or so ago, but it wasn't where
Wow.
I'm at. It was by the foothills of the mountains, I think.
Right. Yeah, because I know that even just north of you, because that's what's cool about Nevada is even Las Vegas is still a little bit north, right, of quite a few places as far as like the latitude, and so it being a desert, it can get fairly cold at night. But Moringa grows really, really great in your area in the desert, as long as you can get to as long as you can get to, like, say, a year or 2 years where your trees have wood on them, if you can get through those winds. I know that you guys have a lot of wind there.
Oh, it's crazy. And not this last year, but the year before, it was like nothing but wind all the time. This last year was a little better. And like right now, what is it? It's 48 degrees outside.
Oh,
But
wow.
if the sun is out and my house is south facing, I just open the garage and it's beautiful. It's like, oh, the sunshine, it feels so good. Yes, I'm burning,
Yep.
getting a burn, but I don't care. Because it feels much warmer in the
Yep.
sun.
That's great. Well, we did have a question here. Somebody said that they can use cardboard as a mulch, as a grass suppressant. So as long as the cardboard is, not like this kind of cardboard where it has like a ink on it and chemicals in it. Of course, even the brown cardboard does have chemicals in it. So just so that you know that a lot of people do use cardboard. What I've actually been using more so is even just a thin layer of the paper, the cardboard paper, and I'll unroll it and I'll just put that over it. And that has really helped too. If you don't have cardboard, you can get a cheap roll of cardboard paper. So mulching over top of the cardboard paper is also very effective too. So, continuing our conversation, and we'll keep going through any questions that anybody has. Starting with the soil is the very first thing. Some of the things that you can make money with. Of course, we talked about the oak chips, and you can sell loads of oak chips from your property, or even if you got a property like a commercial property on the side of the road somewhere and just dropped mulch there, you could open up a day or 2 days a week where you could have trucks come in and you could charge them $20-$50 a truckload, depending. And if you even have a large truck or rented a truck, you could drop off 25 yards of oak mulch to a location, and that's like $500. Like, you can pay big money for mulch. How do you make soil? One of the ways that you can make soil to reduce your waste stream and to create your own soil is just by composting. Composting your own scraps. Does everybody here at least compost? Hopefully you do, because it helps to really reduce the amount of trash that I take out every day, every week. I literally will have the same trash bag for weeks because I do recycle pretty much almost everything that's paper and plastic, but all of my food scraps goes right back into my farm, into my system. And I just have a bucket, like a compost bucket that I have on my kitchen counter, and all of our food scraps goes into that. And then we dump that into a compost bin outside, and then turn it. And after about 6 months or so, once I've turned it 5 or 6 times, by the end of that row, it becomes good soil. And I can talk a little bit more about how to make soil from just your food scraps.
Kendrick, I have to step away for just a few minutes.
Okay, not a problem. Thanks, Shauna. Yeah, it'll just be us and the viewers here asking us questions. We'll go into what we were going to say. We're going to go into composting. This is a huge source of revenue, is just composting your own food. So starting with your food scraps, right? And you can pretty much compost anything. Have you ever heard of David the Good? David the Good has like compost everything books. He's a really great author with really good graphics, where if you start with a bin, and this could even be like a pallet thing, like you could just make this compost bins out of pallets, right? Where you just kind of have these openings, and make a quick little drawing here of this compost area, right? So they're open in the front, and you can even put planks in the front and pull the planks off and then turn it into the next place. But just start by putting your food scraps in the first one, and you want to layer it. So when you put your food in, and you might start with a little bit of dirt here at the bottom, and you put your food in on top, but you don't want the rats, the raccoons, and any of the bugs and anything to kind of get to this stuff. So what you'll do is you'll put a layer of greens, like say maybe grass clippings or something of green material like leaves. Maybe you just cut back a tree or something like that, and you've got a lot of leaves. Put a little bit of leaves on it. They rotate between like greens and browns and greens and browns. So like fresh greens, like grass clippings, versus like browns, like maybe leaves and sticks and stems and other things like that. And what that layering does, I call that, it's not air layering, but it's layering in the composting the soil. I forget the technical term of that, but it's a way to create microorganisms, worms traveling in between these zones where they can eat different things that they like, and the different layers help the other layers break down a little bit faster. So this is your first zone. And then after maybe a few weeks to about a month or two, after this is kind of getting full, right? Because now you've dumped in it, and you're layering things on top of it every time. So that way you're not just keeping the food scraps exposed, you're then turning it over into this one. And so you literally start having a pile here. And then after you, say maybe fill up the second one, or the first one again, it's filled up again, you can pile it on the second one. And you continue to move it over every time you fill the first one up, move the second one over to the third one, move the third one over to the fourth one. And every time that you're turning it and kind of just moving it, it's breaking it down even faster. And by the end of it, you're getting literally black gold. That's your soil. Your dark soil. And that usually takes about 6 months to about 1 year. That's a revenue stream. And also there's worms in there. So you can separate those worms and sell the worms in buckets to fishermen. And you've also got another form of revenue.
So Kendra, I have a compost barrel that I can roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been composting for over a year now. And but it just seems like some of it's just not breaking down.
Right. And that's what we were talking about here.
I'm sorry.
In the first, no worries. We'll definitely say it again. I'm really glad that you asked that, because that's what a lot of people face. And even myself, I'm like, why hasn't this broken down fast enough? It's the process of mixing greens and browns in with your food scraps.
Mm-hmm.
Because those greens and browns also have different types of microbes and microorganisms. Little worms are in there and stuff. So what I mean by greens is, even if you like cut your grass, or I know for you, you might not have any grass, right? So you can use.
I mean, my neighbor sometimes will donate, and he'll bring me a trash can full of his clippings, and I'm like,
oh, that's perfect.
And
that's
I throw it in the garden beds, but I need to start throwing it in the compost bin too.
Yeah, put it on top of your compost. But then the next step was really important is being able to flip it over.
Well, like I said, mine's a roll. It's a barrel.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you got to
So I'm able to roll it, and I've learned to put water in it too once in a
water in
while.
it. That's right. So
So
another thing that you're doing in between of this is essentially keeping it really, really wet, and also
okay.
kind of covering it. Even sometimes people will cover this with wood or plastic, just to kind of keep it warm, and it keeps those microorganisms, helps to break it down even faster. Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. We've got a few people here on TikTok here joining with us today as well. Beautiful to see. I'm actually going to see if I can go to the analytics. I want to go to the analytics page and just kind of see, who's in here. Oh, here we go. Oh, great. We've got about 35 viewers so far. Beautiful. About 15 people on with us right now on YouTube. We're about 30 minutes in our Moringa Mondays podcast. We're going to be doing this essentially with our team behind the scenes. We'll get Sean in here. We'll get Liz in here, and we'll even feature members. If a member wants to get on the Moringa Mondays show with us, be happy to even promote your business, share your story, and just kind of hear about what you wanted to talk about. Anybody within our members community. So I posted this in the members community.
Jack told me that next week he's going to be sending me his member highlight information.
Oh, good.
So we can get him sponsored. I'd love to get him on the show here.
Yes, we would love to get him on the show.
Lilo Basham is a good way to share pictures of our moringa. We have moringa that we've had years of mulch delivered, and we also get free veggies grown out of plastic planters used for compost.
Yes, please. And in the comments here, and I'm going to try to see if I can pull this up again, is in the comments, you can actually, I wanted to go ahead and type, maybe Shauna can type it in there, the Moringa Marketplace.
Yes.
If you put in there, oh, here it is. We have it right here. I have the chat right here. Go ahead, Sean, I'll let you go ahead and put in there. If you put the HTTPS and then do the semicolon / and then Moringa Marketplace.mn.co. And that's our free Moringa Marketplace. And anybody can get in there, share pictures, and just get insights as to what to do next, what you might be missing. So you can join us at Moringa Marketplace.mn.co, and that's where we have our free Moringa Marketplace, and that's where anybody can sell their Moringa. So if you have Moringa right now and you want to be able to sell it, you can make a post. Just make a post. And what we're doing is we're training, we're educating, and teaching people how to make effective sales posts. I could actually go to that too. I want to see where that is. This is great. Beautiful. This is really helpful to just get this information out there. We're really talking revenue streams. I'm going to go to the marketplace real quick and just see if anybody's commenting in there as well. Here we go. So if you have any questions, you can also post inside of our Moringa Marketplace. I went ahead and also boosted the link inside there so that way people could see it. Ask us any questions that you might have. We're also on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. If at any time you're a member of our collective and you want to sell your Moringa, you're more than welcome to post inside of the Grow Moringa Collective Facebook group as well. Yep. Yeah, we just posted that inside of the group this morning. Good job. So inside of the box, the next step after the soil, right? So once you got your soil right, then you want to pick your seeds. So you want to pick really good seeds. And we'll start talking about some of the ways that you can make money from Moringa, even just by having a seed business. You could just sell Moringa seeds, make $1 million just selling Moringa seeds. Let's go into it. Because I know that Shauna really loves the oil, and the oil comes from the seeds. Beautiful. Just want to make sure that I have everything up here. I love seeing the YouTube behind the scenes area right here because I have the chat and I can see that we're still live and everything is good. Really love it. It's public. Does it say public on the YouTube? Like if you pulled up YouTube, does it say that it's public? I think it does.
As far as I know, we've got 12 people watching now.
Good, good. Ask us any questions if you have. Lilo just asked how to share pictures with us. Please go to our free Moringa marketplace. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and put that in the comments here. HTTPS.
My dog's about to sneeze if you hear a noise.
Okay. Shauna's dog's doing really well after using the Moringa oil.
And the dry loose leaf.
Yeah, the dried loose leaf,
And
which
the oil.
I have a kilo coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you can continue feeding your dogs. It's crazy. It's cool that you put a raw egg, some loose leaf, like a tablespoon of loose leaf, and a couple of drops of the Moringa oil, mix that in together, and your dogs just ate that.
They go to town.
What a great protein, fat, and anti-inflammatory, mineral-rich snack for them. And from that time, has your dog been okay? He hasn't really had any of the symptoms as much?
No, I mean, you would never know that he has problems because I'm doing it routinely every day.
That's right. That's
if
right.
for some reason, he wakes up and his joints are a little stiff and he's like, a little shaky, I'll just give a little tiny bit of peanut butter with some oil on it. And within a few minutes, boom.
Wow. The
he's
Moringa
good.
oil with your pets.
Yeah.
So she's using the Moringa oil with her pets and it's helping with the arthritis. Imagine what it's helping and doing for also people. All right. So we're going to go into the seeds. We're working our way up now. And some of the ways to make revenue is from the seeds. Now, if you are living in a northern climate and you don't really have Moringa or can grow Moringa, you can always source seeds. Seeds can be sourced, especially from a trusted source like us. We go through rigorous testing. We make sure that the soil from all of our locations has been tested, heavy metal tested. And also we test the leaves to know that, because there's two steps. Because if your soil, right? So we have the soil and then we actually have the tree, which has the leaves. And with the soil, let's just say this is your property of soil. Sometimes when you're taking the soil test, you're testing in like 3 different zones. So you're testing, so you're grabbing like a little baggie from this area, a little baggie from this area, a little baggie from this area. But if you're growing right here, there might be a pocket of heavy metals in that pocket without you even really knowing. So what they'll do is in the soil, they'll bring all this together and make one bag, and they test this and they'll say, well, you're good. Your site is good. We didn't have any high levels of metals. There's four main types of metals that they test for, which is mercury, lead, cadmium, and arsenic are the 4 main heavy metals that are being tested. We have a soil test that tests 8 types of heavy metals, but it's mostly that lead one is a big one and the mercury is a big one. And so testing your soil is one of the first steps. Any of our members are fulfilling orders for us that we ask them to do first is to test their soil. Then after that, then we need to test the leaves. Because once we know that your leaves are good, then we know that we didn't miss any spots.
I was just having this conversation 4 or 5 days ago with someone that is already growing moringa. They've got 1 tree and they've been growing it for a couple of years and they use it for their own consumption and for friends or whatever. And they're like, okay, but we want to grow more. We've got 1 acre or 2 acres. And they said, should we get the soil tested? I said, well, yeah, absolutely. I said, where your moringa tree is now, and it's a couple years old,
Mhm.
it's probably fine. So when you do soil tests, test the other three corners of your property. Don't worry
Right.
about where the moringa is now. Go out there if you're gonna, do any more trees.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Exactly. And we get lots of questions every day about how to test the soil. And thankfully, we do have a checkout on our website where you can grab the heavy metal soil test at growmoringa.com. Grab yourself a heavy metal soil test. That's one of the very first places to start, is to start with the soil. Oh, good. All right. So testing your soil and then also testing your leaves. So this is a NPK, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, potassium test, but it's also food grade. It's a food grade test. It's nutritional food grade testing. And these are the kind of terms that you say when you're going to the laboratory, because say you hit up your state extension office, the agricultural extension office, and like, hey, do you do a soil test? And they'll say yes. And it's really just a pH test. And so that doesn't test the heavy metals. So make sure that you're using a laboratory that is also testing the nutrition. And also with our nutritional test, this is a big one. It's mold, bacteria, and E. coli. Because at the time that your leaves are dried and powdered, one of the most like opportunities for, say, intercepting something like mold, bacteria, E. coli is in the process of going from the tree into a package. And so what they do is they'll test the leaves as a powder as if it was a package that you'd be sending to a customer. So it's the end result of growing it on a non-heavy metal site, and then also making sure that at the back end, you've also processed and dried your moringa effectively, and it doesn't have any mold, bacteria, or E. coli. Because one of the scariest things for anybody in the food business is to sell something that has those three things: mold, bacteria, and especially E. coli. Plants get E. coli because people handling, mostly it's from people handling, but it's also from using fertilizers. So using fertilizers like manure in a field, and maybe that manure was not composted completely and before using it. So we got this question the other day where it was like, hey, can I use cow manure on my moringa trees? Absolutely. You can use pretty much almost any manure, but before you put the manure on your plants, it has to be very well broken down, at least 6 months, where you've gone through the cycle of letting it sit, letting it heat up. Because one of the key factors in making an effective compost is actually killing the bad stuff. It heats up. You're kind of pasteurizing your compost. That's why these bays do really, really well. For the time it gets to the end, it's pretty much all the good stuff has eaten all the bad stuff. But if you're putting a manure in the field prior to it properly breaking down, you're potentially putting pathogens into your growing zone, which could then turn into E. coli in your package. And so we are very well aware of kind of like the things that could happen from the time that it's in the field to the time that it's in a package.
One of the things that I tell people when they ask me that, I'm like, okay, do you know what the cow or the horse, because I get that question for horse manure too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, were they on shots or hormones? what kind of food was given to them? Did it have any kind of, because what comes in goes out and it might not be healthy for humans or plants.
That's right. Yeah, that is a very good point. Is whatever you're feeding your animals also is going to come out in the number two. Now, animals do have a way of processing things and bringing it down, but a lot of inorganic materials that are in those manures or in the foods will then pass through. So, making sure that your animals are healthy, so that way if you're using that manure, it's not going back into the system like antibiotics or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning more exactly how this industry really works, because I don't even understand how wheat is sprayed with Roundup before the harvest
To make it dry faster.
to make it dry and essentially kill it so it can be harvested. That just blows my mind. I don't understand how that could be a thing or even an option. I don't know. I don't know how or why that's even being done. So even I'm considering, like, the wheat that I eat, like in the stores or in the breads that I get, even if it's sourdough or fresh, it's like, man, we're being exposed to glyphosate or Agent Orange on a regular basis. And I want to be able to test like the levels of that in my body somehow, maybe with a blood test or something, to see, say, if we have dangerous levels of those types of things in our body. But what I like to do is I like to cleanse, I like to detox, I like to keep my body a little bit tighter, right? I like to stay active. You can see that I'm standing up at my desk. This is how I literally I work every day, standing up, and I'm always walking, always moving around. And also I'm eating to my blood type as well. So I found out that I was an A positive blood type. And it has helped me to kind of eat more to my blood type, which allows me to process my food a lot better.
So we do have a couple questions real quick.
Good.
Lilo's asking, could you mention the equipment you use to powder your moringa?
Yes, absolutely. We just use a Vitamix, nice, clean, new Vitamix. The leaves are washed before putting it in the Vitamix, and it's also being done in a GMP facility. So it's in a very clean room. Essentially, you don't want to have any carpet. You don't really want to do this if you're going to be selling your products. You don't want to be doing this necessarily at home, especially just in a regular kitchen, because there's pathogens, there's dust, there's potentially mold, bacteria, and E. coli, even just in your home. And so it's good to do it in another location or in a clean room or a clean environment that is sanitized and being done with potentially, stainless steel. Stainless steel is a very good material to have and to use, especially if you're making food products. So that way you can clean off the surfaces and it's food grade, because a lot of times, and I've learned this process through the years of even just borrowing and using some of my business owner friends' locations, like their stores or their commercial kitchens. It's great to share these spaces because they're already in a clean zone. And so being able to process, say, in someone's commercial kitchen is a good idea. But if it's just for you and yourself, your use, you could use any blender. You could use a Vitamix, a Magic Bullet, or anything, a Vitamix or VitaBullet or NutriBullet or any of those, really. The next step after powdering it is really where you want to get the fine powder, is going to be the sifting process. And so you're going to be sifting the powder with a sifter after the blend. And that's where you get a nice fine powder and you can get all the sticks and the stems out of it. And someone here is actually asking on TikTok, can they take Moringa because they're pregnant? And that's a very good question. many places around the world consume moringa all year throughout their life, every day, whether they're pregnant or they're not pregnant. In the US, what doctors are saying is that if you're in your first trimester, avoid taking moringa during that first trimester. And that's mostly just because moringa is a slight cleansing and detoxifier, that it could put toxins into the bloodstream, because that's really what cleansing and detoxing does, is it pulls things from deep within and puts it to the surface. And so you don't want to necessarily have that floating around. And it's even said that moringa is a contradictive. I'm glad I was able to remember that word. It's a contradictive. In the herb world, there are herbs that are not recommended to take when you're pregnant, and they're called contradictives. And that means it's contrary to life, and it's contrary to promoting, say, life in the body. But that's only because it is a slight cleansing and detox, and it helps to pull things out and pull it out of your body, whether in your colon or number 1 or number 2, right?
Jack, we've got other questions in between.
Great.
But Jack is asking, what size sifter mesh fineness is the best?
Oh, for that filter, for the powdering filter?
Yeah.
Test it out, because I have some really super fine powder filters that I don't really like, because it takes too long and it's not as effective, because it's really not letting anything pass through. And then I have some that are a little bit too big, and it just passes all the little sticks through too. So you kind of have to find that right middle ground. I like the bowl one, the ones that's a bowl. So that way I can hold it, and it's really, instead of like the big flat disc one, there's like a really big flat disc one that you can get too. But I like the one that's a bowl, so I can put a bunch in it, and then I can just shake it. And I've really found one that works well, that is big enough for the powder to pass through, but small enough to keep the sticks and the stems from passing through. So just kind of experimenting with that and finding one that works best for you. I don't know exactly which one. I've had it for a little while, and I would like to possibly get some more and find out exactly what that mesh size is called, so that way we can know exactly what's perfect for that.
Okay, so real quick, Julie asked, what is the average germination time?
Oh, that's a great question, because it's going to vary depending on the time of year. So if you are in an area that is below 50, 60, like if it's below 60 degrees at night, your germination rate is going to be a lot lower. And it also really depends on your batch too. It really depends on the batch, because you might have a bad batch of seeds and trees. So that germination rate is going to vary depending on the genetics.
She
of
said
the
she's
main
in
tree.
9A.
Great. That's 9A. It can still get pretty cold there. We're here in 9B. 9A could be really just north of Tampa. Even anything north of Central Florida is really like 9A. 9B is kind of where Tampa starts, and Orlando a little bit further. And then it gets into 10 in Southern Florida, South Florida. And then like it's 9B, like in Southern Texas, and some areas of course, California has 9B and 10, even like 11 in some areas. So it's mostly time of year. So you don't want your temperatures to be any lower than about 60 degrees at night is really the signifying time frame for you to start planting your seeds and to get a higher germination rate.
Yeah, she says she thinks her seeds are bad, and she's from Riverside, California.
You're in Riverside? Oh yeah. No, it's also mostly just time of year. You want to keep your seeds moist. So for that first week, you don't want it to dry out. And so it could be really dry there. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to create a kind of like greenhouse condition over top of your seeds in a tray, so that way they stay moist. Okay, so it's time of year. It's not really that time of year just yet, especially if you're doing it in the wintertime. Even if you're there in Riverside, nature knows when it's spring. And it's spring usually around the USA at the same time. And that's about March. April 1st, that April Fool's Day, April 1st, is actually like signifying the new year for plants. That's actually the first of the year. That signifies the new year for plants. So I'm going to start celebrating April 1st actually as New Year's Day, because that's New Year's for the season, for the trees, the plants, the seeds. Everything starts opening up again. Pollinators start coming through and pollinating things. And it's just a magnetic frequency of this plane that we're on here across the USA around this latitude. Everything kind of hits at the same time for spring. So knowing that, becoming a farmer, becoming a more consistent grower, you'll want to just focus on sprouting in the right time. And then when it's not the right time, not being, so worried about it, but also like I've taken a step back from sprouting at all in the wintertime. I take a break, because what I've done is I've 10x'd, 100x'd my operation come spring, that I don't need to necessarily keep sprouting and keep doing things all winter long. I can do other things in the winter. Like a farmer will have to take these seasons off and on and off and on. It's about that ebb and flow of the season.
So, Joe S says, hi. What
Hi.
type of fertilizer in the terms of NPK do you recommend?
Nice. Well, something balanced. So it depends on what you're growing. Of course, you might be asking what to do for Moringa. Moringa starts out as green growth. So you want to start off with a vegetative fertilizer. That's usually like a balanced, even just like a 777 is fine. But when you start changing out the numbers, that's when you're like going for fruit or you're going for flowering. But for the most part, for Moringa, once you get it to the green stage and it's growing lots of greens, just kind of back off of that fertilizer. Hopefully at that point, it's already broken down. Say like if you have a greens fertilizer, a vegetative fertilizer in your pots, that it's already been kind of eaten up by the time that it starts to go to flower. And it may help it to go to flower sooner. And that's actually what our biostimulant does, because it's made from Moringa. So the biostimulant that we have, it's made from Moringa leaves, and the Moringa leaves have a hormone in it known as zeatin. Zeatin is actually found in Moringa at 1,000 to 14 million times than any other plant. What? Zeatin can be found at 14 million times more in Moringa than other plants. So there's so much zeatin, and this is a natural occurring hormone that helps the Moringa grow fast. And so scientists were like, what causes Moringa to grow so fast? So they studied this. It's a protein, and protein is essentially the building blocks of proteins are amino acids. And so there's a certain series of amino acids that are essentially, when you break that down even further, it's like hormones. It's like these like things, technically I have this kind of knowledge in the book. I was able to gather this kind of information. I put it in the book for everybody to see that Moringa has high levels of zeatin. And this is studied around the world extensively, and that it's extracted from the Moringa, it's bottled, and it's used as a biostimulant, which helps to stimulate the soil, stimulate the biology of the soil. to help feed other plants. And so that's how we are actually going to be breaking into how we're going to break Moringa into this biostimulant industry is by promoting essentially that Moringa helps other plants grow fast. And it's a vegetative type of fertilizer. Now, there is a difference between biostimulants and fertilizers. They work closely together. You know, a biostimulant, as long as you have the biology in the soil, the fertilizers are more effective. Although fertilizers really are kind of really chemical reactions that feed the root directly. What biostimulants do is they feed the soil, the biology, the microorganisms, and those in turn, chemical reactions feed the roots. So those chemical reactions, natural chemical reactions that happen between the biology and the breakdown of all those bugs and little things in the soil help to feed the roots. The roots actually feed off of that. So
I was just thinking about this conversation I was having with somebody the other day, text messages, and you ended up jumping in too, because this guy, first he wants cuttings because he makes his own fertilizer, biostimulant.
That's right.
And he's sitting there in the conversations telling me about zeatin, telling me about, and I'm like, we talk about this all the time. Join. And I mean, seriously, I thought you're gonna text a Moringa company and start telling them what Moringa is.
Yeah, we get that all the time. But we want him to supply his biostimulant for the orders. So that's what's really important for everybody to know is that when an order comes into our website, ding, cha-ching, cha-ching, we're talking about revenue streams, right? When an order comes into our website and we're finding out one of our, who has it that's in our database, so is it you? Is it you? Or is it you? Who has what this person is ordering? Do you have the cuttings in stock? Do you have the leaves in stock? Do you have baby trees in stock? Do you have the seeds in stock? So you can decide where you want to be in this industry with us as a collective. So when the order comes into our website, the members of the collective are fulfilling the orders. It's not just me anymore. When I first started this, I was fulfilling all the orders and I was just like, how do I create a company where we can continue to grow? I'm only one person, but how can I share this money with other people? And that's by creating this collective business model where we're all sharing the income coming in from this. And we can kind of break this down too, as we continue to talk more about the revenue streams today. That was great. That was great that he texted us saying that he's making biostimulant, wanting to sell us biostimulant. And we're like, you could supply your biostimulant if you signed up as a member with us. Essentially, if we got an order of biostimulant and it was close by to this person, we would give him the order. So we give members orders. We paid out last week $1,000 to members for orders that came into our website. So we're on the phone with members, we're texting members, we're emailing members saying, hey, member, do you have fresh greens that you can ship to this person? Yeah, I've got my soil tested, I've got my leaf tested, and I'm able to take these fresh greens off of my tree, put it in a package, and ship it to the order that we just got on our website. Well, thanks. We'll go ahead and pay you for fulfilling that order.
So I have I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Lucane A. Walker. He's from Jamaica. Can I join? How can I test my soil?
Wonderful. You're more than welcome to join the collective network anywhere in the world. Step one, if you want to just start off for free, go to our free Moringa marketplace.
I posted it again. Yeah.
Post that again. That's a free place for you to just get into our network. You'll start getting our newsletters from there. And then on our website, growmoringa.com, we actually have the soil test that you can purchase through there. And it potentially will come to you in Jamaica. Now, one of the good things that you might want to do is get like a USA address, whether a family member or there's businesses that actually do this, where they take a USA address and they'll ship you whatever came in from the USA, whether you're in Jamaica, Africa, India, Mexico. So we have members that want to ship their moringa into the USA. And so they also get a USA address. They ship it into the USA that way. But for the most part, if you are in another country and you want things being shipped to you, one of the easier ways is to find a company that will export it for you, but they have a USA address. So that way, potentially, like, say, the laboratory. Oh, hey,
Marie's joining.
Wow. Wonderful. Beautiful. Marie's in here. Now, we are live on YouTube. I don't know if Marie knows that, but we are live on YouTube here. And she's more than welcome to come in and give us pointers, and she's helping us behind the scenes.
Oh.
Marie is actually in the Philippines.
She left.
She left. She might have thought that this was just between us. And that's
right.
Okay. So we're just starting to get these popping off, and our team behind the scenes, I posted it in our Slack and I said, hey team, we are live on YouTube with this link. So what's cool is that we're here actually on Zoom between like how we normally are. And then we're just streaming this as a service onto YouTube, which is cool.
So a couple more things here. Jonathan, he's one of our members. He says,
nice.
Hey guys, I'm glad I caught this, especially after missing last Wednesday's meeting. So we're glad you're here too. And
Great.
then another member just jumped in, Mike Svolto. If we buy in bulk to resell, can we use our own label?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You can purchase in bulk from the collective. Now, let's just do an example where you order a kilo of powder. So on our website, we have a kilo of powder, or even we had somebody ask us for like 100 kilos of powder. And so we have a price for that as well. You could order a large bulk order of Moringa powder. It would come from one of our members local to the USA, and you could easily break that down. You can put your label on it, and you can sell it with your own label. Now, if you are fulfilling an order from the website and the image that person checked out says Grow Moringa, they need to receive the Grow Moringa label. So if they purchased on the website and it says Grow Moringa, then the member that is fulfilling that order, they need to send it with the Grow Moringa label. Okay. So we do have to have a cohesive branding. And that's because we have tried this out to where it's like, we're a collective, you're ordering it, but it's going to come to you from the member fulfilling it. So we had members sending their own labels, but then we got a lot of feedback from that because branding is real. Branding is a real thing. When they see something, they see the image, they see the logo, you're building trust, and they trust that they're getting this. So you don't want to be deceptive. We don't want to be deceptive in any way and say you're ordering this, but you're going to get that. So it needs to be cohesive where we all share the same label.
But also, Kendra,
Yes.
you know, like you're going to be sending me the kilo of the loose leaf because I'm already selling the oil under my own label.
That's right.
In my own business.
That's right.
So when you send the loose leaf, I'm going to start adding that to my business as something to sell with my own personal label. So
Absolutely.
that's what he's asking. If he
Good.
buys it in bulk, can he use his own label?
Yes.
And yes, you can.
Yep, you can break it down and you can put your label on it. You can put it on your website. You can sell it at the farmer's market. You can sell it to your friends and family with your logo on it. Absolutely. We are promoting everybody having their own business. That's what's so great about a collective, is that everybody has their own business, but we also share a brand together. Now, co-ops are a little bit differently, where a co-op member doesn't have another business. Their main business is that business. But with a collective, I wanted to promote individuality. brands. We want to have thousands of Moringa brands. Like we've got Moringa Maverick in another part of the state, and he's very active inside of our members area. He's helping to teach and train people how to start a Moringa business. He's posting inside of the private VIP members area about how he's using Chat GPT to help create blogs for his website, for his brand. And so he's sharing this valuable knowledge about his brand and what he's doing to help make blogs and how to start your Moringa business is all happening inside of the members area.
So Lucine just joined our members marketplace.
Oh, good. Great. Yeah, it's free. It's free to sign up, join, make a post in there. Anybody can sell whatever they have. If you have Moringa right now, you can promote your own brand inside of the free Moringa marketplace. And then if you wanted to get, say, more information about the book that I'm writing, if you want to get access to my book, I'm working on it right now on about chapter 6, chapter 7 of 10. So it's almost done. We have about maybe 3 chapters to go. You're more than welcome to get into the members area now, and you can actually read as I'm writing. So every day I'm posting something new to the book, and then potentially within the next month to 2 months, I'll have it completely finished, and we'll be putting it up for sale as a PDF. So we're just going to have the book for sale as a PDF first. And then once we get a few sales from the PDF, then we'll be able to start printing the physical copy of the book. And anybody that signed up as a lifetime member today will actually get a physical copy of this book once it's done. So it is included with membership. Right on. Oh, I'm glad that we're getting some people joining the free area as well.
So I don't have any more questions from anybody, but Julie made a comment. She goes, I've been talking to the plants. They're currently laughing at me.
Oh, good. They're laughing. They're happy. We just got through a full moon too. The moon was really full last week. So they're dancing, they're jumping, they're having fun. So we have a member, one of his favorite times to harvest his trees that I've actually done many, many years is I'll wait to harvest trees until the full moon. And I'll harvest it in the morning because I know that they have just eaten the sun that's reflecting off of the moon all night long. So all night long, these plants are getting lots of sun rays, sun energy from the moon reflection. And when the sun comes up, you can just see the leaves are just like really, really vibrant, really green. And you want to catch a harvest when the sap is still high in the tree and in the leaves. So the sap and the sugars and all the nutrients go out into the leaves at night. So you want to harvest really early in the morning before all of those nutrients and everything and sugars go back down into the roots. Because that's what's happening every day with the trees is that they're flowing with nutrients up and down, up and down. So someone was asking about that fertilizer. I recommend the biostimulant. So even before fertilizer, I would recommend using a soil amendment and helping to build the soil. Because once you do that, the fertilizer, the natural fertilizers that either you've already used or have already in the soil will be even more effective once you've already used the biostimulant.
Kindergarten, I remember in the meetings that we were having, you would talk about whatever grows from your soil, whatever weeds.
Mm-hmm.
That means that that's supposed to be in your soil.
That's right.
And how to turn that into
a biostimulant as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. That if you have weeds popping up in your soil, those are biodynamic accumulators. And naturally what's happening is they're coming to the surface to put the things that are missing back into the soil. So usually if you have something like a Biden's alba, or if you have something like a plantano leaf or something like that, there's a profile of nutrient that might be missing in that soil that weed is helping to replenish. So what you can do is you can even pull out local weeds from your grounds and put them in a bucket, adding, say, brown sugar, molasses, brown sugar, wash it up a little bit, creating almost kind of like a layer of sugar over top of the leaves. And that kind of creates like a an airlock. It can still pass through the granules, but it's creating a fermentation process. And the microorganisms that are already kind of in those leaves, and they will begin to feed, and you're creating a fermented juice, plant juice. They call it a FPJ, a fermented plant juice. So you can make your own FPJ, fermented plant juice. That essentially is Moringa biostimulant. It's just a fermented plant juice. We are just fermenting Moringa leaves and bottling it for you. Wonderful. So Marie came through on TikTok. Hey, Marie's here on TikTok. She's also here asking questions with us and is sharing our live to others on TikTok as well. So thanks, Marie. Marie is in the Philippines. Thanks so much for helping us. And Philippines love Moringa. Moringa is actually one of the country's most valued and cherished vegetables. And anytime I was driving around town when I first started growing Moringa, I noticed there would be Moringa trees in people's front yards. And I would knock on the door and be like, hey, you have a Moringa tree? 9 times out of 10, they were Filipino. And they were so happy to share with me that I knew what malunggay was. So in the Philippines, Moringa is known as malunggay. And we have that actually here on the back of the book. You can see malunggay. Malunggay is how you spell Moringa in Filipino. And there's all these different names around the world. So I would love to travel the world and see just how it's prepared, how it's used in cooking and recipes. And so we're actually building out our recipes page on our website too, so that everybody can see traditionally how to eat Moringa around the world. Great. So we're moving right through. We've got about another 45 minutes or so. We want to kind of do this for about 2 hours every Monday morning to really help set off our week. After this, we're going to be sending out our newsletter. So if you haven't yet signed up to our newsletter yet, you can go to growmoringa.com, get in on our newsletter. Also, just by joining the free marketplace, your email will also get into the newsletter as well. Distribution. So we talked about seeds, right? So how can you make money from Moringa seeds? Sell the seeds, plant the seeds for trees. Now you've got trees that you can sell. And then also press those seeds into oil. And now you've got oil that you can sell.
And seed cake.
So, and when you're pressing the seeds, the excrements that come out of the machine, the byproduct that comes out of the machine, they call that seed cake. And that seed cake is actually a crude protein that can be sprayed, or not sprayed, but it can be spread back out into your field as a nutritional additive to the soil. It is actually considered a biostimulant as well. That's right. All right. Oh, Mike was asking about the label. I see Mike's question here. So you're more than welcome to make your own label. If you need help, Mike, making labels, visit us in the VIP area. Let us know that you need help with labels. We have members that are able to design labels for you. You could also go to Fiverr, and you could fiverr.com, and you could use any of the designers on that website or any designer website, and you can utilize their skills to help make a label for you. You just tell them, I have a Moringa label that I want to make for powder or whatever it is that you're trying to make. Tell them the size, kind of give them an idea of your logo. So even before the label, you have to kind of come up with a logo. So that way your logo is on the label, right? So talk to us a little bit more inside the members area if you like, Mike. I know that somebody was saying that they couldn't get into the Wednesday meeting, the Wednesday night meeting. They're a member and they were not able to get in. Just get into the VIP area using Mighty Networks. If you're having trouble getting into the meeting, it's in the events tab. So in the events tab, we now have the meeting in there. And you can RSVP now. I opened up the RSVP. So that way anybody in the members area can get on the RSVP. So that way when the meeting starts, they'll get a notification to get into the meeting. And we go live for just the members of the collective every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Oh, good. I saw some pictures here from Tony,
Yeah, they're
one of our members
beautiful.
out here in California. He's got trees in pots. Oh, good. We were trying to give him some orders. Right. So we were trying to give him potentially some fresh green orders because I know that we had some orders coming in for fresh greens
It was for cuttings also.
and cuttings
Yeah.
orders. So we're reaching out to members. So if you're a paid member inside of our collective, anytime an order comes in, we want to get you to put it in the inventory sheet, the inventory database, so that way we can pay you for filling the orders. That's really what we're really trying to do, because when an order comes in, we want to be able to fulfill that locally. So when an order comes in from California, we don't want to ship trees and cuttings and seeds from Florida to California. We want to have a local member in California provide that order. And that's our main goal.
And that's what I was doing yesterday, is reaching out to people from the map, our Moringa map, and asking them, do you have cuttings? Everybody that was in the area of that
Beautiful.
customer.
Shauna, would you be willing to post the link of the Moringa map inside of the chat here
Absolutely.
on YouTube?
And I was just going to say, for those that think that we're not real, somebody just joined the free marketplace.
Yep.
And I'm having conversations with them right now.
Oh, wow.
So that, it's like, hey, I'm right
That's
here.
great. I'm even going to post. This is the Moringa marketplace. I'm going to post on here right now. We're live. We're live now. So I'll comment that even right there in the marketplace.
All right, the map is up.
Map is up. Oh, thanks. Beautiful. Now, did you post that in the chat on the YouTube?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm trying to see here if I see that. I don't see that. I saw Shauna saying, thank you so much, Jack. But I don't see anything after that. I do see my chat here, my post of the marketplace. All good. Just want to make sure everybody gets the links that they need. Do you actually see your chat? Do you see you do? Okay. Okay, good.
What I've done this time versus last week when I was all over the board is I have our Zoom call in front of me so I could see us real time talking. Oh, and but I have the YouTube so I could see the chats. I just have it on mute.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, we're doing really great. We've got quite a few people in here on YouTube. Ask us any questions in the chat. We're also in the Moringa marketplace. You can get into that for free. Marie's here saying what's up. So someone is texting us or messaging us on our TikTok as well. So I want to make sure that I see these chats here. Great. So someone's asking, could you grow Moringa in Iowa? Yes, we actually get a lot of questions for people growing Moringa in Iowa. You can take a look at our Moringa map on our website and even in the chat here, that you can grow Moringa anywhere in the USA in the summertime as a summer annual. And so planting it after your last frost, as long as the temperatures are above 60 degrees at night, you will have success growing Moringa pretty much anywhere. I mean, maybe not Alaska, but we do have members growing Moringa in the summertime in Oregon, in Washington State. They were very successful over the summer. They had tons of fresh greens growing. They ended up planting hundreds of trees in a short amount of time and was able to get enough powder made for their own supply. So yes, absolutely. Actually, we have a very successful member growing Moringa in Kansas.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yep. And Marie, they have a biodome. They have a biodome and they have a great YouTube channel. We'll go ahead and share their YouTube channel. But if you're in the members area, you can actually see that they posted their YouTube video about their biodome. And they made a really great testimonial actually this week about the success of the biostimulant on their other plants. So they purchased biostimulant from us, and they're using it on all of their other plants. And they're saying, look, and they're taking pictures of the before and after of, say, some of the other plants that were in the biodome, and they're spraying the biostimulant on a regular basis. And just a few weeks later, a couple months later, then boom, these greens are super green. The wax on it is shining. It's because Moringa also has a lot of iron in the leaf. And so iron is very good for greens, Iron Man, it helps to strengthen plants. Iron is very good for keeping a plant very strong and straight and stiff, and it helps with assimilating other things like nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. So as long as you have lots of iron in the soil, it helps to really make things in your, flush out.
So Marvin
great question.
Smith jumped in and he said, good morning, Moringa family. Marvin here in Northeast Florida. So excited to be here to listen and learn.
Oh, great. Thanks, Marvin. Really happy to have you here too. In Northeast Florida, yeah, we've got some members in Jacksonville, actually, that are doing really successful. Now it's cold right now, so a lot of people are saying, their trees are dormant, or they died back, or they don't have a lot of growth going on right now, so they don't really have anything to sell or anything to process for orders.
Liz is in the house.
Yay! Hey, Liz, welcome.
Hi, Liz.
Hi there.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, no worries. Just on time. Welcome. Welcome and good day. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
Wow, we are live. We are live on YouTube right now. Liz is here joining us. We've got our team behind the scenes here with us to help any of our, customers, friends, family answer questions. Liz and Shauna really help us quite a bit behind the scenes and just getting all the things that we need done, especially like delegating the orders. So thanks, Liz. Thanks, Liz, for coming in here. We're just kind of hanging out, we've got another 30 minutes or so. And we're going to make this a common conversation, mostly between us, kind of some of the things that we face every week. This meeting and this live will also help set us up for the whole week, things to talk about. We can bring up questions that people have asked throughout the week and just kind of get it out there to everybody, because we get hundreds and hundreds of questions a day, and want to be able to just really help as many people as we can. So thanks for coming in, Liz.
Of course.
Nice. Mary actually just texted us saying that she is interested in getting the box, but it comes up as 96. And that's because the very first option in the variant that I put on the Shopify is a buy two, get one free. And she's texting us inside of our CRM. And the answer to that would be just go into the variants and just click, either one box or two boxes. Because what I did was I wanted to promote the buy two, get one free in the boxes, because the boxes are buy two, get one free right now. So normally these are $48 a piece, but if you buy two, you get one free. So you get three for $96. And so that way people can get one for themselves and get two essentially for other family members and things like that.
And that's even crazy because retail value is like $100, right?
Yeah, there's $100 worth of Moringa inside here, because each one of these baggies is $10 retail. So this little baggie is $10 worth of Moringa. These little seeds are $10 worth of seeds. But altogether, there's 11 items inside. There's also a strainer for making tea. We also have loose leaf inside of here. We have flowers inside of here. Now, if at any time there's an item that we don't have in stock, mostly it would just be the flowers. Like right now, it's wintertime, so none of the flowers have really been flowering. None of the trees have been flowering. And so what we'll do is, if we don't have any item, we'll replace it with another item. So right now, we don't really have a lot of flowers, but we threw in an extra oil. So same thing for members. If they don't necessarily have every single item or they can't fulfill every single item, we're just recommending that throwing in another oil or throw in another powder, whatever that member might have a lot of in stock. Of course, we don't want, a member to be filling these boxes if they're missing 3 or 4 or 5 different items. But if they don't have flowers, it's usually flowers that are the toughest ones to keep in stock. Because they sell fast. People really love buying the flowers, but because the trees don't really have as many flowers right now.
So we have another member just jumped into the call here.
Oh, hey, that's cool. We've got a lot of members actually that are joining us here on this live call. That's great. It's just proof of what we're doing. If any members are also having trouble reaching the live that we have every Wednesday night, don't hesitate to text us or let us know that you're having trouble getting, and we will make sure to send you the new private link for you to get into that meeting.
But it's a Franzino?
Yeah,
Blake?
Franzino.
I apologize if I messed up your name. Hi from Troutdale, Oregon.
Oh, he's my
lifetime
friend.
member. Yeah.
Yeah, Franzino's in here. Welcome. Thanks, Franzino. Yes, lifetime members. We have about 15 or so certificates left inside in our deal, in our lifetime offer. Members can actually become owners of the collective. They get a share as a lifetime member. Right now, it's only $1,000 to become an owner member and to actually get a share of the collective. And we can talk about that. There's about 10,000 shares available in total for the company. And we are actually giving members the majority of the company. So there's 5,100 shares available just for the members. So that's 5,100 shares available for members. And so we have about we're almost to our first 100 that we have. So we have about 15 lifetime member certificates available still that you can purchase at growmoringa.com. And as you can see, we have lots of members even here that are here with us. And they really love what we're doing and learning a lot from us.
Lilo says, how do you process your flowers?
Great question. This isn't really processed at all. What we did was when we harvested our trees and we cut our trees back, we just separate everything into different piles. So we can kind of go into a little bit of what you do when you go and make a harvest. So when you come up to your trees and you've got a tree here, you've got your nice big tree here, right? And you're up here and you see there's drumsticks falling off of it. So you've got drumsticks, but you've also got a lot of flowers up here. You've got a lot of flowers up here, right? A lot of flowers. But when you come to cut your tree back, and you might cut these 2 side ones, and you might just leave this center one up there. Now you've cut your sides back, and now you've got a pile of sticks. You've got a pile of leaves, and then you potentially have a pile of flowers that you'll separate at the time of harvest. So when you're harvesting and you're bringing everything to the ground, you want to go ahead and separate your sticks, your leaves, and your flowers right then and there on site. From there, you're really just wanting to make sure that they're dry. So now that you have your flowers separate, and you want to separate your flowers before you're drying your leaves. So that way your flowers are separate, your leaves are drying, your flowers are drying, because the flowers take a little bit longer to dry. The leaves will dry pretty fast, but the flowers might actually take twice as long to dry. So we have those set aside, and they will take about a week or so to dry completely before we even package them. But there's really no process in them at all. It's really just the fresh leaf. I mean, they're there. I mean, the fresh flower. I mean, the fresh flowers, you can see that they're whole flowers, right? And so they're just completely dried, and we just put them right there in the bag for you. And a really cool way to consume it is in a tea form. And that's why we put the strainer in here for you. So that way you can literally just make a flower tea and add some of your loose leaf in here as well to mix together flower and leaf. So that way you can have a really nice tea. The flowers are really spicy, so they're actually really good also as a garnish to any meal. And believe it or not, they're actually even more anti-inflammatory than the leaves. So the flowers themselves are even more anti-inflammatory than the leaves.
Just be careful. I remember this story from one of our members where before she knew how strong moringa was, she did a whole salad with the flowers and fed it to her family. And they hated
my
her
gosh.
for they hated
A whole
her for
a whole
days.
salad.
A whole salad made out of
Ay,
the moringa
ay, ay.
flowers. Yeah, her
Yikes.
family was not happy with her.
Yeah, though they're pretty strong. So just as a garnish, you're just kind of sprinkling it. They're super spicy. So even when you eat the flowers fresh off the tree, you're going to be like exploded with flavor.
You're gonna get exploded.
Yeah. Someone here on TikTok is actually asking, hi there. And also, do you ship to the Philippines? And so, great question. What I would prefer is if you're going to order from us, that you would purchase from the collective, but we would have a member already in the Philippines. So we could have a member in the Philippines join the collective. And if an order comes in our website from the Philippines, we would just have that member in the Philippines essentially ship it to you close by, because our method is most local. The most local, the better. You know, we don't really want to ship from USA to Philippines when Philippines already has tons and tons of moringa right there. The freshest moringa that you can get is right there in the Philippines. So they might also be asking the exact opposite. They might be in the Philippines asking if they can ship it to the USA and if we could help sell it for them. And yes, that is also a great opportunity too, because on our website, what we can do is we can put, say, for instance, moringa powder. And then within that variant, someone could choose USA powder, or they could even choose Filipino powder. And we want to be able to give people an option and a choice, because we have Filipinos in the USA that might really want to order fresh moringa that they trust from us, from a source in the Philippines. And it could come directly from that member in the Philippines directly to the buyer. And we have that connection, and we are serving as, say, like the trust, and also just making sure things work out well. Because if there is an issue with anything, we want to make sure that both parties are protected. We want to protect the customer, and we also want to protect the farmer. We don't want the farmers to be growing moringa for such a cheap price that it ends up causing them to be impoverished. So we want to help with pricing and the way that we sell our moringa with our brand and everything to really help take care of everybody down the line. And that's really our most important goal, is a fair trade price for the moringa. So that way farmers can make a living from growing moringa, essentially anywhere in the world.
Mike Svalto, he says, I'm growing moringa as sprouts and microgreens in Tennessee. I can grow all year inside.
That's right. Good job, Mike. That's great. Now, if you have any greens or anything, what we need members to do more so now is getting their inventory in the database. So letting us know, especially Liz, letting Liz know what you have in stock is going to get you the order. Because when an order comes in, she's quickly going to say, okay, this order came in from Arizona. I see here that we've got 5 members in Arizona. 2 members actually have this in stock. Oh, well, it looks like this order is so big that we're going to have to split this order up, and both of those members in Arizona are going to fulfill that order. Because what if the one member only has 1 kilo and the other member has 2 kilos, but the order that just came in was for 3 kilos? Neither of them have 3 kilos, but both of those members can fulfill that order together as a team. That one member can send 2 kilos to the buyer, the other member can send their 1 kilo to the buyer, and we pay them by what they sent. And so you might be asking, how much does a member get paid for fulfilling an order? And that's 75% of the retail value. So if an order comes in for $100 and we give that order to a member, that member is going to get a $75 check, essentially ACH, Venmo, PayPal, directly to them for fulfilling that order upon the delivery of that order. But it does have to have all of our branding. You know, it has to have our labels, because if it comes into the website and they're looking at our label and that customer is like, I'm looking at a Grow Moringa label, they need to and are expecting to receive a package with the Grow Moringa label on it. So as a member, you will have to, if you want to fulfill orders as a member through the website, then you just have to get together with us and make sure that your labels are printed and that you're putting them on the package. But one really cool thing that all of our members are doing is they're putting information about their business in the package. So if you're fulfilling an order and you're fulfilling a box or you're fulfilling anything, you can still have a piece of paper or your business card or something in there that says, hey, thanks for shopping with Grow Moringa. Next time, visit my website. Here's a 20% off coupon or a 10% off coupon if you visit my website. And we are wanting to promote our members in that way, where send the box, send the label with with our shared labels on it. And then inside of that package, this is just what Amazon does too. It's like you're ordering from the website, Amazon, you're getting a box from Amazon, but inside you open it up and it's from a member, a fulfillment by member, essentially. So you open up and you're like, oh, I ordered, say for me, almonds, right? I ordered almonds from Amazon, but it came from a specific farm. And I open up and there's a coupon inside that box that says, hey, thanks for shopping at Amazon. Next time, come visit almondfarms.com. Here's a coupon. So instead of going to Amazon next time for purchasing almonds, I might end up going to that farm website directly and getting and using the coupon that I just got. So it's the same practice here as well.
The Amazon.
What's that? The Amazon of Moringa. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Exactly. We are essentially trying to be the hub for Moringa around the world and curating proprietary mixes, blends, but also ensuring the quality, because everything is really passing through the QC, the quality control. Somebody's like, well, how do you know that member has high quality Moringa? Well, they have to go through the testing. They have to send their photos to us. They have to go through an inspection process. Each location has to go through an incredible inspection process where we know exactly what they're sending people. But also on the back end, if the customer is not happy, and that just happened today, a member sent an item, and this was a fresh greens item. It's very tough to send fresh greens, and our members are just starting to get practice in this. And we spoke with the buyer and we said, hey, because she asked for a refund. She's like, hey, the fresh greens came in. They didn't come in. They were bad. They were yellowed. They weren't even cold. Not a problem. Hey, we're really sorry for that. We were not anticipating that. But would you be willing to continue working with us as we continue to experiment and perfect this process? We'd be willing to send you another order. You know, would you be willing to accept us trying again? And she said, sure, please send us another order. Let's try it again. So this experimentation, especially with the fresh greens, is making sure that our members know, say, like how to package it and how to keep it cold using the thermal packs and also the cooler packs. So we're working really closely together with communication with our members and also with our customers. So that way we make sure that all parties are happy. And that's really what I dream of in this company, is just communication. The customers, we're just really on everybody that's asking things. When they receive items, we're asking them, how did it come? So that way we know exactly if there's a member that may not be, say, shipping things the way that we've trained them, we will know right away. That's the thing. We will know because the customers will tell us, hey, it didn't come the way that I anticipated. Not a problem. We're going to get the member to send you another one until they get it right. And then as our new members who are starting to fulfill orders in this way, they get much better at this process. It takes practice. This is my 7th year shipping things, going through the process of learning how to package and process things. So it just takes time.
So Philo says, I love the tea you sent in the gift box. What kind of mint do you use in the mix?
So it's just a regular spearmint. We don't use peppermint because the Moringa greens are already kind of peppery. And so it's just a common variety of spearmint. And it's dried. Some are locally sourced, like I'm growing mint here and drying it, and sometimes it's put into that. And could have most likely been from that, or even just sourcing organically grown mint from, say, regions in the north. Like there's a lot of states in the north that grow mint, because mint is really grown in a much more of a cooler climate than, say, in Florida. They don't really do too well in Florida. So they die back every summer. So it's just a spearmint, and it's fresh, it's organic, and potentially it would even be from, say, like another co-op, because I like to order, if we don't have, say, something like even in the spice, I order organically grown turmeric and source organic turmeric from the spice, but I use the fresh green powder that we're growing as a collective in the spice. But if there's something that we don't have, like, say, the mint, if we're out of mint, we will organically source mint that's grown in the USA. If we can, as local as we can as possible. We really wanted to grow local and permaculture. Great. Good job, everybody. We got another 15 minutes or so until we kind of end up our Moringa Mondays. If there's any questions, just let us know. We're still here.
Any questions on TikTok or Facebook?
Yeah, let me see here. Got a couple in TikTok here. Nice. Got about 20 people or so live on TikTok. Hey, everybody, welcome. Good stuff. Wow. Did we get like 2,000 likes on this live on TikTok? TikTok is popping.
That's awesome.
I don't do TikTok, so.
I know it.
Y'all go to my TikTok too.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and even download this video from TikTok. Thanks, everybody. And we will be also downloading and putting this on our socials. That way you can also watch this live in the future. We're going to be doing this every Monday. We're going to have more of a script, coming soon. We're working on exactly how this show will evolve and work out, having a conversation between the team, but also just being available for everybody here is like really, really important for us. Communication, make sure everybody's getting what they need. The more that we get this information out, the more that we have suppliers, the more high quality Moringa that we have in the pool to pull from for these orders, because we have lots of orders coming in, and we want to make sure that we get enough people in that we trust that can supply these orders. If we get an order in Iowa for fresh greens, you in Iowa could be the fresh green supplier as a member, or Kansas, or North Carolina, or Virginia, or like we have a lot of members in Arizona that are here.
And just like last year during the summer, when we were doing a bunch of kilos of powder, we had to turn away orders because, people were wanting, I want 10 kilos a month. And we were like, 10 kilos in itself is an order that it's going to be hard for us to fulfill. So 10 kilos a month is just not something that we can do for you right now.
Right.
But as we get our suppliers up and as we get more people that can grow and that have that, then it'll be easier for us to take those bigger orders.
That's right. And somebody very soon will probably, like a store, will be ordering 10 kilos a month, like you say. Now, what if a member that's really close by to that buyer only has 5 kilos and the other member only has 5 kilos? I mean, 5 kilos is a lot to get together. I mean, this is quite a bit of powder. This, like, usually you only get about a kilo of powder by the 3rd year on one tree. So that's a big one to talk about, is how much can I harvest from my tree to even get a kilo? So in the first 30 days from sprouting, 45 days, you're going to have like a little bushy tree, right? So this is 45 days. people say, how soon can I harvest? How soon can I make money from moringa? You can make money in 45 days. If you planted 1,000 seeds on a raised bed, on a nice raised bed, you could get 1,000 little trees growing on that raised bed. And within 45 days, you're in the money. How soon can I make money from moringa? 45 days from sprouting. And you can order 10,000, 100,000, even 1,000,000 seeds from us. We have unlimited amount of USDA certified organic moringa seeds that we source from our members. We have seeds coming in from Mexico. We have seeds coming in from Nicaragua. We have seeds coming in from Puerto Rico. Also coming in, of course, from India. We have a lot of people that are trying to get their seeds over here from Africa, right? And so we're speaking to all of our members that have high quality seeds. We need to have proof of the germination rate and also of their paperwork. So we want to make sure that there's no heavy metals in the soils. So that way we're not sourcing seeds that have heavy metals in them too, or they're from trees that have heavy metals in them. So after that, within the first year, your tree might be like fairly tall, right? But what you're doing is, this is say somebody that didn't cut their tree back, right? And this is in the first year. A lot of people will come to us and their trees are already a year old and they're like, I don't have any greens on it. I don't have a lot of greens on my tree. And that's only because you haven't really utilized the power of harvesting it. Because when you harvest it, it splits out. And then that middle part goes away and you start having a much more bushy tree. Every time you cut it, it splits. You cut it, it splits. When you cut it, it'll split out. So every time you're cutting it, you're getting weight. You're getting 100 grams potentially of powder from that branch, 100 grams from that branch, 100 grams from that branch. So every time you cut it back, you're getting a harvest.
My husband says when you don't cut it, it looks like a crack-headed palm tree.
Yeah, exactly. They're not very, bushy. They do look a little sickly, especially if they've gone through the cold. They've got some damage on it. They've got cold damage on it. They're not as healthy if you're not actually cutting it back. That's because in nature, these trees are food source for elephants, rhinoceroses, and all kinds of animals. Giraffes out in nature, they love eating moringa. And so moringa has developed and evolved to where it's lots and lots of food. It's fresh and easy to eat from all kinds of animals. And the more that it's being eaten, the more that it provides. That's funny.
So Leela says, thanks for all the great info. And Mike asked, can you put it on YouTube? Yeah, no, this is on YouTube Live. This will be on YouTube also when we finish this broadcast. It will be on YouTube all week. You can also check our last week's video as well. We have last week's up there. That has several hundred views from last week. Even this one today already has, it even looks like there's about 100 people that have already passed through and said what's up, even just in the last 2 hours. We want to try to get this to where it's something of a regular occurrence, where every Monday people are kind of getting up like, hey, let me check in with Grow Moringa and see what's going on the show. So that way either they can get motivated to get more seeds planted, or they can also ask questions to know what's the next step. And so the next step for you is to just keep growing, keep pushing, keep learning, keep educating yourself as to how this tree grows. Julie asked what time on Mondays. And because I know she says she's in California, I told her, I said, we start these Zoom calls at 7 Pacific time. Yep. 7 a.m. on the West Coast. In Texas, where Liz is, I think it was 9 when we started. And then here on the East Coast was 10 a.m. when we started. Now it's almost about 12. We got about 5 minutes or so. And we're not really like cutting it off. We're just saying like, we're going to be here for about 2 hours every Monday for Moringa Mondays. It's our show. It's mostly for the team to get together publicly
kind of putting any kind of our questions and issues we might have had. I mean, we're putting everything out there. You know, we had issues with orders this week. We're going to let people know that we're here. We want to make them happy. We're not trying to hide anything. This is a collective. We're very transparent with what we're doing, answering questions, because we know that the more people that know this stuff, the more supply we have, you know, of seeds in Iowa, in Mississippi. Someone here is like, can we grow these trees in Mississippi? Yes, absolutely. You can grow moringa anywhere in the summertime as an intensive annual. So you would grow it, say, 1,000 trees on a raised bed, or maybe 10,000 trees, or even 100,000 trees on an acre. So in Mississippi, let's just say you had an acre and it gets cold there and it's clear. Maybe it's summertime and you don't really grow something in the summer. And that's really kind of maybe your off season. Because I know here in Florida, summer is actually the off season because it's so hot and it's so rainy. But if these farmers were to get hip to the flow of, say, like interplanting and cropping other things in different seasons, they would grow strawberries in the winter. Like right now, strawberry season, February is about to be the biggest strawberry festival in the whole world is about to go down here just a couple blocks from here. I mean, we've got 1 million people coming into Plant City every February for strawberry festival. And so we're driving around town out here and all the strawberries are getting picked right now. Everybody is out picking their strawberry fields right now, getting ready for the strawberry festival. But all summer long, those strawberry fields sit dormant. They sit empty. We understand that there's, you know, politics involved there. There's fertilizer companies involved there, and also just other issues that are going on there with agriculture. But those fields will just sit empty and dormant all summer long. They won't be accumulating anything. They're not worried about it because they have fertilizers, right? We have fertilizer. We don't need to grow anything in the summertime to rejuvenate the soil. We're going to be putting all that stuff back in synthetically. But if you're an organic grower and you want to grow something to put the dynamics back into the soil, one of a summer crop that you can grow would be moringa. So you can grow moringa in the summertime. And so after your first year, you've gotten maybe about 100 or 200 grams worth of powder off of your trees. Now you're going to the third year and you've got much more of a shorter, thicker tree, and you've already cut it back quite a bit of times. And now you really have a nice short tree here that's really got tons of greens on it. And you're harvesting 1 kilogram every single time that you harvest that one tree. So by the third year, people are like, how much money can I make? And that's essentially wrapping this entire episode up, is how much money can I make from moringa? It just depends on the time. So if you can get to 3 to 5 years, that's when your investment is going to start paying off. As with any investment, you may not see it in the first week, couple weeks, but thankfully, those greens will start producing for you cash within the first 45 days. Then you get those greens that are in the raised bed, you spread them out in your field. And then now you've got, in your first year, you're starting to get maybe 100 grams off of each tree. And then by the second or third year, now you've cut those trees back maybe 10, maybe 15 times, about four to 5 times a year that you've already trimmed the tree back, and you're keeping it on a schedule. And it's now bushing out. It's summertime, springtime, summertime. Usually the tree really starts to get really bushed out is after the rainy season starts. And that's about like June or July here in Florida. And by July, August, September, October, November, those 5 months, you can harvest once a month and get 1 kilo off of each tree every single month. So you could even get 5-6 kilos off of one tree after the third year. So revenue streams, patience, phasing. We're going to be talking in the book a lot about phases. So this is like phase 1, this is phase 2, and this is going into phase 3.
I had another comment about what you were saying about like if you have another main crop, but then you don't have anything during the summer.
Right.
Like it's not good for your soil to just be sitting empty.
Right.
So as a collective that grows in an organic fashion, like it's always good to keep something in your soil. So like our main crop is Moringa at our farm. But we knew this winter, like we still needed something. So we put some like ryegrass and some clover in our beds that we're going to do intensives for
Yes.
this coming spring.
Yeah.
So we're about to, in about a month, because it's still kind of cold here, got to 38 this past weekend. We're going to pull all that up and then we'll plant Moringa in about March.
Perfect. Yep. That's great. So that way you're accumulating nutrients with the clover. That's actually on our plant list as a very, very important crop to grow on the off season in your beds. It helps to suppress weeds. It helps to accumulate other minerals and nutrients in that bed. So that way, when you're ready to till it or just say sheet mulch it, right, and put mulch over top of it to suppress the clover or whatever it is that you're putting in there, to then put the Moringa seeds in there to let those grow so there's not as much competition, then that's a great way to, rejuvenate your soil each season. So that's a good tip. Hopefully everybody here on TikTok heard that too.
We talked about mulch earlier, and because I have no grass and all that stuff. What about if I go to a feed store and I get hay or alfalfa?
Yes. Hay, alfalfa, those types of things are really great. You can actually you can even just get a block of hay, like a big block of hay, and you can plant Moringa seeds in that hay pile, and you can even just grow out of that, because even that has nutrients in it, of course, if it's organic. And you can lay it out in your grass, in your raised bed, and it helps to accumulate nutrients as well. Yeah, you can grow right out of hay too. We lay out grass clippings and hay in our field every season to suppress weeds and to renutrify and to help build that layer of biology between the air and the soil. It really starts in that top 3 to 6 inches.
You really do need to be careful about hay though, because a lot of them, the fields, they'll spray glyphosate.
Yep.
Is that how you say it?
Yep.
They spray it on the grass to kill it, so it's easier to harvest.
Yes.
So you do need to be careful about hay just to make sure that they don't spray before they harvest the hay.
That's right. Yeah, we talked about that just before you
We
popped
did.
on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're
No, we
good.
were talking about wheat, not hay.
Yeah, like we
Oh.
were just saying, like how I don't understand how it's okay for the wheat industry to spray Roundup prior to harvesting, because it helps to kill the germ and it helps to open the germ up so that way it's easier to actually harvest the wheat. Plus, I think they do that to speed up the season. So like if the wheat is still living and green and fresh, they can't harvest yet. But what if there's a weather pattern that they have to get it out, whether a frost or a rainstorm or a hurricane or something? Like if they know that something's coming a week out or 2 weeks out, they will spray that. And it's just mind-boggling. But even more mind-boggling is the power of the body to cleanse and detox and be able to just keep getting hit with all these toxins and everything that's just hitting us in the environment and still coming out like supermen and women. I think that's freaking experiments, on us to see what we can take. But hopefully everybody is healthy. Health is wealth. We want to be able to help everybody here create a revenue stream from Moringa. We actually have another video where I actually laid out all the different revenue streams. This is actually all the different revenue streams that someone can take and use to literally make money from Moringa. It starts with the soil. Going into the seeds, we talked about money that you can make from the seeds, from the cuttings. Then the cuttings are the trees. Then from there, you've got biostimulant. You can make people food, plant food,
Animal food.
and animal food. How you can make, from the trees, you can make all these different products going from the seed cake that we talked about, the oil, even taking some of the cuttings and being able to make biochar from the cuttings and then putting that back into the soil. So it's like just a circle, of life that's happening. And there's a video here. If you type in on our channel, Moringa revenue streams, we have another like 30-minute video or so that talks about all the different revenue streams that you can make from Moringa. Right on.
So for, I'm gonna eat up your name every time. Franzino. Yeah. He said, what about growing comfrey with moringa?
Oh, comfrey is a great plant to grow anywhere with anything. It is a great companion plant. It can be used for many different things inside the home as an herbal supplement, outside as a biodynamic accumulator. It is a very, very effective companion plant. It's a ground cover for moringa, and we do grow comfrey in the wintertime, in the spring. Usually they die back in the summertime because they don't really like the heat, but they do well in Texas, in Tennessee, and other cooler places, even up along the Appalachians. They do really well there. It's from Africa. So comfrey originally is from Africa. So it does do well in some heat spots. It's got to be in the shade. They really love the shade. But if you have it out there in full sun, they don't really do that well. I think it's from Africa. Most things are from. Then by way of European herbalism, like we know most of the herbs, like European herbs, like the kitchen herbs, like basil, thyme, oregano, things like that were developed in Europe, but they originally come from another plant that say are from an older place.
So we have Edgar Brown from Newfoundland.
Hey, welcome,
And,
Edgar. Thanks for joining us. Come
and
back
then-
and see us next week too. We'll be here every Monday.
And Pam, I think what you're asking is, we already have it in here and he just talked about it. She said, this is my first Zoom with you. Do you have a list of things you can sell? Each part of the tree and what genre?
Yes, actually, you're more than welcome to use our website. You can see all the different products that we have. We have a lot of people asking, what price? What should I charge? Just compare our prices with the price that you would like to charge. It's education. You can visit our website and learn, oh, they're selling that for that much. I'm going to sell it for this much. Or, oh, they make this product. I can make that product. And so just going to our website and visiting our shop is going to give you a one-up on the competition, because you're going to learn how to package it. And also we have a supplies list on there where you can even purchase supplies that we use, like all of these baggies, all the labels that we make from the raw labels. So like we print these labels, from a file. And if you need help making labels or logos, we've got Liz and other members inside the members area that are also helping members with their logos and things like that. So Pam's actually probably watching from YouTube. It does say Zoom. She's like, oh, we're in the Zoom, but we actually have a private members Zoom that we host every Wednesday night, just in the members area, that we don't post on YouTube. But you can also come into the members area and you can watch all of our previous members meetings that we have in the VIP area. So come on in there.
I just put the website and the shop in
Nice.
here so people can click on it.
Thanks,
Click
Shauna.
to it.
I'm having a hard time seeing your comments. I hope that everybody else can see them. Oh, wait, I do see yours. Julie, we start these Zoom calls 7 p.m. Yeah, good.
No, Pacific Standard Time, not
Yeah,
PM.
7 PST. Yep. AM. Right. Okay. So I did see that. Okay. So I see
Yeah.
your post coming in now. Okay, good. I just didn't see the other ones. Beautiful. All righty. Well, we're here. We pretty much kind of close. We're going to close up our Moringa Mondays show. Thanks everybody for coming in. We had about 20 or 30 people here with us throughout the time, live with us. Thanks everybody for coming in. We've already gotten about 100 people watching throughout the course of the 2 hours, which is great. And hopefully we had everybody sign up to the free Moringa Marketplace. We'll go ahead and put the free Moringa Marketplace in there one more time. And we can come in, you can sign up for free. It's in Mighty Networks. and you can download the app on your phone. You can get in for free, and you'll also get added to our newsletter, and you'll be able to post questions, pictures, share pictures. You can sell your own Moringa inside of there. So if anybody's wanting to purchase from you directly, they can hit you up directly. The key is with that, get back to the comment, get back to their DM. A lot of times in this entire selling process, if you put the post out there and you're not getting back to the people commenting on you or DMing you, you can't follow through and sell it. So I want to make sure that if you're posting on there and someone's like, hey, I want to buy from you, that you guys are connecting and actually you're moving forward with the sale, because a lot of people might forget that they even made that post, or they don't even come back to it for a while and they don't even see it. So just make sure if you're wanting to sell, to be on your comments, get back to everybody in your DMs, and just start learning good sales practices. All right. Thanks, everybody. Come on to our website, grab the special, buy two, get one free. We have these boxes available now. They will be shipped right to your front door. You can hit us up at growmoringa.com. That will take you to our shop, and that's where you can purchase these boxes. Buy two, get one free now. Normally they're $48 a piece, but you can get 3 for $96. And if you're on YouTube right now, I'll type in the code here for any single item, you can use the 10% off. But if you're getting say like a box, then it's already extremely cut back on price. So the coupon won't work for like say a box. But if you just wanted to get like 100 grams of powder, or you wanted to get 100 grams of loose leaf, or if you want to get 1,000 seeds, any single item, the 10% off coupon works. And it's 10% off single items. Fro 10%. Okay. Much love, everybody. Thanks, team, for coming in here and sharing your time with us. And
We'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Peace and love, everybody.
Bye.